ॐ ॐ ब्रह्मानन्दं परमसुखदं केवलं ज्ञानमूर्तिं विश्वातीतं गगनसदृशं तत्त्वमस्यादिलक्ष्यम् एकं नित्यं विमलमचलं सर्वधी साक्षिभूतं भावातीतं त्रिगुणरहितं सद्गुरुं तं नमामि। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम् शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। ॐ श्रीकृष्णपरमात्मने नमः। अथ श्रीमद्भगवद्गीता अष्टादशोऽध्यायः मोक्षसंन्यासयोगः। अर्जुन उवाच सन्न्यासस्य महाबाहो सन्न्यासस्य महाबाहो तत्त्वमिच्छामि वेदितुम् त्यागस्य च हृषीकेश पृथक् केशिनिषूदना। श्रीभगवानुवाच काम्यानां कर्मणां न्यासं सन्न्यासं कवयो विदुः सर्वकर्मफलत्यागं प्राहुस्त्यागं विचक्षणाः। त्याज्यं दोषवदित्येके कर्म प्राहुर्मनीषिणः यज्ञदानतपः कर्म न त्याज्यमिति चापरे निश्चयं शृणु मे तत्र कर्म प्राहुर्मनीषिणः यज्ञदानतपः कर्म न त्याज्यमिति चापरे निश्चयं शृणु मे तत्र त्यागे भरतसत्तमा त्यागो हि पुरुषव्याघ्र त्रिविधः सम्प्रकीर्तितः यज्ञदानतपः कर्म न त्याज्यमिति न त्याज्यं कार्यमेव तत् यज्ञो दानं तपश्चैव पावनानि मनीषिणाम् एतान्यपि तु कर्माणि सङ्गं त्यक्त्वा फलानि च कर्तव्यानीति मे पार्थ निश्चितं मतमुत्तमम् नियतस्य तु सन्न्यासः कर्मणो नोपपद्यते मोहात् तस्य परित्यागः तामसः परिकीर्तितः दुःखमित्येव यत्कर्म कायक्लेशभयात् त्यजेत् स कृत्वा राजसं त्यागं नैव त्यागफलं लभेत् कार्यमित्येव यत्कर्म नियतं क्रियतेऽर्जुन सङ्गं त्यक्त्वा फलं चैव सत्यागः सात्विको मतः न द्वेष्ट्य कुशलं कर्म कुशलेनानुषज्यते त्यागी सत्त्वसमाविष्टः मेधावी छिन्न संशयः न हि देहभृता शक्यं त्यक्तुं कर्माण्यशेषतः यस्तु कर्मफलत्यागी सत्यागीत्यभिधीयते अनिष्टमिष्टं मिश्रं च त्रिविधं कर्मणः फलं भवत्यत्यागिनां प्रेत्य न तु सन्न्यासिनां क्वचित् पञ्चैतानि महाबाहो कारणानि निबोध मे साङ्ख्ये कृतान्ते प्रोक्तानि सिद्धये सर्वकर्मणाम् अधिष्ठानं तथा कर्ता करणं च पृथक्विधं विविधाश्च पृथक् चेष्टा दैवं चैवात्र पञ्चमम् शरीरवाङ्मनोभिर्यत् कर्म प्रारभते नरः न्यायं वा विपरीतं वा पञ्चैते तस्य हेतवः ॐ तत्सत्. So, Jai Gurudev, Dr. Mara is not able to join in today. So we'll read the last paragraph of of verse 10 and then go on to verse 11. So the verse 10 was Nadveshya kushalam karma kushalena tyagi sattva samavishto medhavi chinna samshayaha. And the meaning is the renunciate of the results of actions, being the one who is endowed with a pure mind, then being the one who has discriminative knowledge and whose doubts are gone, does not despise inauspicious kamya karma, nor does he cling to auspicious karma. We read this twice over, yesterday and day before. Thus, by this verse is told the purpose of the previously mentioned karma yoga, that is moksha. What about the purpose of the lifestyle of sannyasa? That is also moksha. So it was said, the one who sees the lifestyle of sannyasa and karma yoga as one, he sees the truth of both of them. Ekam sankhyancha yogancha yah pashyati sa pashyati. Why? Because as the Lord says in the 5th chapter, real sannyasa is difficult to attain without karma yoga. O Arjuna, the wise person who is committed to karma yoga reaches Brahman before long. Sannyasastu mahabaho dukkhamaptum ayogatah yoga yukto munir brahma nachirenadhi gacchati. Karma yoga is presented here as a means in sequence, kramena. That word kramena must be understood. Karma yoga is meant to give antakarana shuddhi and prepare you for knowledge. That is why he says, finally, through assimilated knowledge, one becomes a medhavi and a chinna samshaya. He is the one who does not revile inauspicious karma or cling to auspicious karma because he is above ragadveshas. He is a sarva karma sannyasi. All this is very clear. What was said earlier is again repeated here. This bears repeating because it is the vision of the whole Shastra and therefore should be understood well. So we'll go to the next verse. In the next verse, Bhagavan says, Nahi deha bhrita shakyam tyaktum karmanyasheshataha yastu karma phalatyagi satyagi tyabhidhiyate. He deha bhrita, indeed by the one who sustains a body, karmani, actions, asheshataha, completely, tyaktum na shakyam, it is not possible to give up. To but yah karma phalatyagi, the one who is a renunciate of the results of action, saha, he, tyagi iti abhidiyate, is called a renunciate. He deha bhrita karmani asheshatah tyaktum na shakyam tu yah karma phalatyagi saha tyagi iti abhidiyate. Indeed, actions cannot be given up completely by the one who sustains a body, but the one who is a renunciate of the results of action is called a tyagi. As long as one identifies with the body, one can only renounce the result but not the action. I repeat this. As long as one identifies with the body, one can only renounce the result but not the action. The person in question is one who is enjoined to do karma, who is further explained as the one who identifies himself as the body and the body as himself. By this very identification, he sustains the body. He is a deha bhrita. His conclusion being that he is the body and therefore an agent. He is ignorant. His understanding of the self as a doer is not negated. This conclusion, I am the doer, is so very well rooted that it is not possible for him to completely give up all karma. Na shakyam tyaktum karmani asheshataha. Even if he takes sannyasa, he may give up a few karmas like duties, etc., but he will still look upon himself as one who has given up all the karmas. Who gives up karma? Not Satchidananda Atma. It never had any karmas to give up. The one who says, I have given up karma, is the one who looks upon himself as the agent, Karta. He can never give up all karmas, but he can give up the result of karmas while doing all the enjoined karmas. That is the tyaga that is relevant to him. He retains the kartritva, doership, and at the same time converts his daily life into yoga by acting, not according to his raga dveshas, but in keeping with dharma. Perform the enjoined karma, because action is better than inaction. Niyatam kuru karmatvam karma jayohya karmanaha. So says Bhagavan. This was in the chapter 3, verse number 8. Though there is karma, because there is no commitment to the results, raga dveshas get neutralized. The internal pressure is gone and he is cheerful, not because he gets what he wants and avoids what he does not want, but because of his attitude. In fact, what he does not want keeps happening, and what he wants does not happen. When he takes care of that by karma yoga, his mind becomes cheerful. This is the tyaga that he is qualified for, not sarva karma sannyasa. Let him work for jnana, for which doing karma with this attitude and not renunciation of karma is necessary. Sarva karma sannyasa is not mere renunciation of action, karma tyaga. It is renunciation of doership in the Atma that takes place in the wake of the knowledge that Atma is not the doer. There is no renunciation, really speaking, but it is a fact that Atma is akarta and doership is superimposed upon the Atma due to ignorance, avidya. When that superimposition goes in the wake of knowledge, naturally one becomes akarta. Even performing action, he does not perform any action. Kurvan api na karoti. That is called sarva karma sannyasa, which is the same as knowledge. To prepare yourself for that knowledge to take place, you can either be a karma yogi or a sannyasi. Here, the karma yogi is praised and his tyaga is karma phala tyaga. Being ignorant, he cannot give up all karma and live a life of a bhikshu. He still has identification with a given body, mind, sense complex. And with this identification, he not only sustains this body, he sustains the next body also. When this body is gone, he will assume another because being a karta, he is also a karma phala bhokta. To enjoy the karma phala that he has gathered, he has to assume new bodies. Then, when he assumes a human body or its equivalent elsewhere in this universe, he again becomes a karta and naturally a bhokta, for which he has to assume another new body. This is what they call samsara chakra, the wheel of samsara. What is said here is that the person who identifies himself or herself as the physical body is not a person with discrimination. That is, he is not a viveki. For that person to give up karma totally is not possible. The viveki, on the other hand, has no problem. He has no erroneous sense of doership, kartritva, and there is no question of any karma being done by him. How does he perform an action or cause anybody to perform any action, even killing? He neither kills nor causes someone else to kill because he has no kartritva whatsoever. Krishna has said earlier, Veda vinashinam nityam ya enam ajam avyayam katham sapurusha partha kam ghatayati hantikam. The one who knows this indestructible, time-free, unborn, imperishable self, how or whom does that person destroy or cause to destroy? Whether I do something or I prompt you to do it, it is all the same. I am the agent, karta. The one who knows the self, however, neither performs nor asks someone else to perform an action. That knowledge is sarva karma sannyasa. I will read all of this again, but let me just go through with the flow. This sannyasa is not possible as long as you are identified with the body. Karma cannot be completely given up by the one who is identified with the body. Nahi deha bhrita shakyam tyaktum karmani asheshataha. Since he is ignorant and has the notion that he is a doer, he is enjoined to do karma. That being so, sarva karma sannyasa is not possible. But he can do karma, making sure he is the renunciate of karma phala. He does all the nitya naimittika karmas, giving up the kamya karma, not for any artha or kama, but only for antakarana shuddhi, and through that for moksha. If there is no attachment for security or pleasure, including heaven, in all his actions of prayer, rituals, etc., he has karma phala tyaga. Because he is a Tyagi, he will gain an Antakarana ready for knowledge, and thereafter Sarva Karma Sannyasa is possible. This does not mean that he will not get Karma Phala. That is unavoidable because Karma Phala is Rita, Avasyam, Avasyam Bhavi, that which will surely happen. It is an unalterable fact that karma necessarily yields a result. Even though he does not want it, it will come to him. But then he has no attachment with reference to it. This is an oft quoted verse in praise of Karma Yoga. Even though he does karma, still he is a Tyagi. Total renunciation of karma is possible only by a person who has the vision of the Atma, which is Akarta. Naturally, he has no identification with the body and is therefore not one who sustains the body, Dehabhrita. He is not dead. It is just that he does not have the confusion that I is the body. This is real sannyasa. But as long as there is identification with the body, as long as you are a Dehabhrit, what should you do? In this verse, Krishna says, you should be a karma phalatyagi. Now, suppose the person is able to give up the identification with the body and gain sarva karma sannyasa. What would be the result? That is told in the next verse. So, I will read all of this one more time. If there is anybody who wants to share anything in the meantime, please go ahead. So, indeed, actions cannot be given up. Nahi deha bhrita shakyam tyaktum karmanya sheshatah. Yastu karma phalatyagi satyagi tyabidhiyate. Indeed, actions cannot be given up completely by the one who sustains a body, but the one who is a renunciate of the results of action is called a tyagi.
Hariom, one question I have, Dr. Pramra, like it is that we cannot give up the actions, like the actions, the actions which are going inside the body, which are spontaneously, like it is like breathing, like peristaltic movements. All these these will also be counted as actions. Like if a body is there, these actions are going on themselves. We are not doing them. Will they be counted in this verse?
I think what he's talking of is voluntary action, right? Not involuntary action. They're all involuntary, like the heart is beating. You don't have any control over that.
Yeah.
Your digestive process is happening. Do we have any say on that voluntarily? It is happening on its own, isn't it?
Yeah.
So the voluntary actions also means the involuntary actions means what we do should become voluntary action. We have to make it that way.
I
Means,
don't know whether that's possible.
No, because that is what we are not the doer.
That is a
that
practice.
Has to come to us. That state has to come to us.
No, but listen.
It means when we do karma phala tyagi, we have to think that I am not doing it. Then only it has to register, that
it
much
is
we have to
everything should happen involuntarily.
That is what. We have to come to that state.
So
we have to
improving our
think
prana,
that
basically.
we are not the doer. See, we are not breathing. It is happening automatically.
You're
thinking
saying
that we are
our
breathing.
voluntary action should
So
become
our
involuntary.
mind also, manasa vacha karma also, it should happen spontaneously at
Automatically.
that moment. We become the pawn of the this instrument for the God. God is working through us. Universe is working through us. That much we should become so natural and involuntarily. The thing should happen,
spontaneous.
not voluntarily. Yeah.
That is what.
Yeah, I get your point. I thought it was the other way around that you were saying.
Yeah.
Voluntary.
No. I think I might have
Accurately
missed
use,
the
yeah, use the
voluntary and
prompt word.
involuntary.
Yeah. So voluntary actions also become involuntary,
Involuntary.
spontaneous, and they are without the doership. Because then, see, when a person becomes a real sannyasi, that is a vidvat sannyasi, he has given up all karma. Sarva karma phalatya. Sarva karma sannyasa happens. So there he is in a state of non-doership. Even that identification with the body is not there. There is that akartritva and bhoktritva. Both are happening. So there he cuts off the whole thread of karma and the karma phala, and therefore the cycle of samsara is cut because of knowledge. That is knowledge again. That is moksha. But as long as has not attained that state, he is a karma yogi. There is that kartritva and bhoktritva happening because there he identifies himself with that deha brit. He says, this body I am, and this is my body. For such a person, karma phala tyaga is what Krishna is goading us to do. Plus, and he gets onto the path of moksha. So he becomes a viveki. He does with that vichara, viveka. Finally, when that knowledge dawns, then he becomes, there is no difference then between the real sannyasi and a karma yogi who has attained knowledge. So that is what was mentioned earlier also. The one who sees the sannyasi as a karma yogi, the sloka was, one second, the last paragraph, ekam sankhyancha yogancha yah pashyati sa pashyati. The one who sees the lifestyle of sannyasa and karma yoga as one, he sees the truth of both of them. So do you want me to read this whole thing one more time?
Yeah, one more time.
Yes. So as long as one identifies with the body, one can only renounce the result, but not the action. The person in question is one who is enjoined to do karma, who is further explained as the one who identifies himself as the body and the body as himself. By this very identification, he sustains the body. He is a dehabhrita. His conclusion being that he is the body and therefore an agent. He is ignorant. His understanding of the self as a doer is not negated. This conclusion, I am the doer, is so very well rooted that it is not possible for him to completely give up all karma. Na shakyam tyaktum karmani asheshataha. Even if he takes sannyasa, he may give up a few karmas like duties, etc. But he will still look upon himself as one who has given up all the karmas. Who gives up karma? Not Satchidananda Atma. It never had any karmas to give up. The one who says, I have given up karma, is the one who looks upon himself as the agent karta. He can never give up all karmas, but he can give up the result of karmas while doing all the enjoined karmas. That is the tyaga that is relevant to him. He retains the kartritva, doership, and at the same time converts his daily life into yoga by acting, not according to ragadveshas, but in keeping with dharma. Perform the enjoined karma because action is better than inaction. Niyatam kuru karmatvam karma jayohya karmanaha. So says Bhagavan. Though there is karma, because there is no commitment to the results, raga dveshas get neutralized. The internal pressure is gone. He is cheerful, not because he gets what he wants and avoids what he does not want, but because of his attitude. In fact, what he does not want keeps happening, and what he wants does not happen. When he takes care of that by karma yoga, his mind becomes cheerful. This is the tyaga that he's qualified for, not sarva karma sannyasa. Let him work for jnana, for which doing karma with this attitude and not renunciation of karma is necessary. It's such a beautiful, important paragraph. So a karma yogi.
I think, can you read that, this one? In the middle, it is.
Okay, I'll
get neutralized, the internal pressure is gone. That.
Yeah. So he retains the kartritva doership and at the same time converts his daily life into yoga by acting, not according to his raga dveshas, but in keeping with dharma. Perform the enjoined karma because action is better than inaction. Niyatam kuru karmatvam karma jayohya karmanaha. This is from the 3rd chapter. So says Bhagavan. Though there is karma, because there is no commitment to the results, raga dveshas get neutralized. The internal pressure is gone and he is cheerful, not because he gets what he wants and avoids what he does not want, but because of his attitude. What is this internal pressure he's talking about? That internal pressure, that jvara, that feverishness to get the result that he wants. So he's only doing whatever is to be done. The result is not his concern. Although
attitude plays the most important.
Attitude. He is doing everything as an expression of joy, not for joy. Whether it is a karma that he likes to do or does not like to do, he is actually out of that raga dveshas. He will not say, okay, this is something I don't like to do, so I won't do it. But if that is according to dharma, he's supposed to do it, he will very well go ahead and do it. And he'll do it with an attitude as an expression of love, as an expression of joy, not for joy. So that internal pressure is not there. If he is a manager and he has to point out whatever the subordinate is doing is wrong, he will not shy away from that and say, oh, I will cause him displeasure, so how can I say it? No, it is his duty to do it and he will do it. Doesn't matter the repercussions, doesn't matter if the subordinate starts disliking him. He will do his duty. Same thing for a parent. If the parent has to correct the child, he will do it because out of a sense of duty, he will do it, he or she. So that internal pressure is gone and he's cheerful, not because he gets what he wants and avoids what he does not want, but because of his attitude. In fact, what he does not want keeps happening and what he wants does not happen. But
this sentence is little confusing.
No, but see, what he does not want keeps happening. Supposing
that is what, something.
Yeah. In the sense, every action is with an expectation of a result, right? You expect some result and therefore you set out an action. That expectation is not wrong. Otherwise, you cannot even start any action. But whatever he does not want, supposing it's happening, and what he wants does not happen,
That is in suppose, but he says in fact. That is the problem.
Yeah, so does
Normally, like for in the journey of a sadhak, or in the spiritual journey, usually they are the testing times, no. Things which should happen does not happen, and the things which should not happen, they are happening. So this is what I think what the Swamiji wants to convey, that in fact what he does not want keeps happening. Like he wants that everything should be in a proper way according to the dharma, but it does not happen, so it keeps happening, and what he wants does not happen. So when we see from the knowledge point of view, when we see that this should happen and this should not happen, so this is the vision of a sadhak or a spiritual seeker who wants that way. But it seldom happens, because more of the time it is the like you can say the tamasic prevails more, or that in that way the sattva is not, like people not do not act according to dharma, they act according to the raga and dvesha. So this is this is what I
That is
understand.
what that in fact should be suppose. If it happens, then also that attitude should be
Yeah,
of
that somehow
cheerful,
remains, the somehow remains, he is not affected whatever.
affected. That
Yeah, he is
I
not
think
affected.
that in fact means it happens. It doesn't.
Yeah, it happens, and he is not affected by it. He remains cheerful, his mind remains peaceful, so it does not affect him.
Even if it happens, he has to do that tyaga.
Yeah, if it happens, then he is not, his mind doesn't get agitated. He remains in that serenity remains. He doesn't get affected by whatever is happening, or is according to the dharma, or his like or dislike. He doesn't have any like or dislike, rather he moves according to the dharma only, what is to be done.
Means there is no raga dvesha. That is it.
Yeah, there's no
yeah,
raga
see, that is
dvesha.
what is said, no? The internal pressure is gone and he's cheerful, not because he gets what he wants and avoids what he does not want, but because of his attitude. In fact, what he does not want keeps happening. Keeps happening. It doesn't mean at every situation it happens. There may be times when he gets what he wants, and what he does not want may not happen. But in spite of that, with or without, he continues to be cheerful within. So this in fact does not mean that every situation what he does not want keeps happening. No, I don't think that is the import. So if whether it happens or does not happen, with or without the expected result happening, or the result that he does not want to happen happens, in spite of that, he remains cheerful. That is the karma, and that is the true karma yogi. I mean, there is only one karma yogi, and that is the karma yogi. So when he takes care of that by karma yoga, his mind becomes cheerful. That santosha becomes very natural to him. This is the tyaga that he is qualified for, not sarva karma sannyasa. Why? Because he is a dehabrit. He is still identifying himself with the body. He thinks he considers the self as the doer, as the bhokta, as the karta and the bhokta. Let him work for jnana. See, that is what he has to do. It's a karma. Karma yogi is not someone who just has this attitude. but he also works for jnana, for which doing karma with this attitude and not renunciation of karma is necessary. So when we do this karma with this attitude, we are getting rid of the raga dveshas. We then are eligible for jnana, and then jnana can happen. So giving up karma, like the earlier two shlokas, the tamasika tyaga and the rajasika tyaga, where out of ignorance he gives up doing all his work, or out of saying, oh, the body will get affected and therefore I will not do the work, that is not what is prescribed. So it is not renunciation of karma. He has to continue doing his karma with this attitude of a karma yogi, cheerful from within without having that internal pressure. And irrespective of what the outcome of his actions are, whether it is according to his expectations or otherwise, he gives up the results of the action. He is cheerful, irrespective. Sarva karma sannyasa is not mere renunciation of action, karma tyaga. It is renunciation of doership in the Atma. This has to be underlined. That takes place in the wake of the knowledge that Atma is not the doer. There is no renunciation, really speaking, but it is a fact that Atma is akarta, and doership is superimposed upon the Atma due to ignorance, avidya. When that superimposition goes in the wake of knowledge, naturally one becomes akarta. Even performing action, he does not perform any action. Kurvannapi na karoti. That is called sarva karma sannyasa, which is the same as knowledge. To prepare yourself for that knowledge to take place, you can either be a karma yogi or a sannyasi. Here, the karma yogi is praised and his tyaga is karma phala tyaga. Being ignorant, he cannot give up all karma and live a life of a bhikshu. He still has identification with the given body, mind, sense complex. And with this identification, he not only sustains this body, he sustains the next body also. When this body is gone, he will assume another, because being a karta, he is also a karma phala bhokta. To enjoy the karma phala that he has gathered, he has to assume new bodies. Then, when he assumes a human body or its equivalent elsewhere in this universe, he again becomes a karta and naturally a bhokta, for which he has to assume another new body. This is what they call samsara chakra, the wheel of samsara. What is said here is that the person who identifies himself or herself as the physical body is not a person with discrimination. That is, he is not a viveki. For that person to give up karma totally is not possible. So let's do Manana on this before we go to the next paragraph. So sarva karma sannyasa is not giving up action. It is giving up the doership, renunciation of doership. In fact, there's no renunciation. It is the realization that the Atma is not the doer, not the enjoyer. Because in the wake of knowledge that he is the Atma, none other than the Atma, then there is that state of non-doership. It just dawns. It just not even dawns. It gets uncovered because that avidya is gone. And in order to get to that sarva karma sannyasa, you have two lifestyles, sannyasa as well as karma yoga. Both get you to that point. A karma yogi continues to do his nitya shastra vihita karma as well as laukika karma with an attitude of karma phala tyaga. He's cheerful in his mind. without that internal pressure. And a sannyasi is one who gives up his nitya naimitika karma while pursuing knowledge. So these two lifestyles, one is that is a vividisha sannyasa as well as a karma yogi. There is vividisha and vidvat sannyasa. Sorry, vidvat sannyasa is the one who is already he's a jnani. There is none other than Atma there. We're talking of vividisha sannyasa as well as a karma yogi, as those two lifestyles. So this Dvaita Bhavana is unavoidable as long as we have the identification with the body, mind, sense complex. So that trace of doership will remain till the wake of knowledge happens. And the cycle of samsara chakra will continue even for a karma yogi until he attains knowledge. Because every karma he does, there is a karma phala to that. And in order to enjoy that, enjoy or suffer whatever the karma phala is, he has to take on another body. So ultimate moksha for even a karma yogi is only in the wake of knowledge.
This Deha Bhavana is so difficult to get rid of. It's, Maya is so difficult to cross. Maya.
True.
I was just thinking how life after life we are caught up in this body and how difficult it is to.
That's why that Maya Panchakam is so powerful, no?
Yeah, but
Whole day
still, you know,
keeps in my ringing in my mind. Because we are stuck with so much Deha Bhav unknowingly. All of us are work in progress.
But we don't
Long
need
way
to
to go.
worry about it because Krishna has given us a guarantee. He says a person who's on the path, who's doing this, will never devolve. He will only evolve. That is number one. Second, what we need to do is just be true karma yogis and pursue knowledge. This is what we have to focus on. And how that Deha Bhav will go down or how that knowledge happens, that is, I think that's just a happening. It's once the field is set, your bed is prepared enough, the seed will sprout, the knowledge will dawn. And for that, we again have to have Shraddha. With that Shraddha, we go forward.
Shraddha and patience.
And sadhana.
Infinite patience.
Yeah.
And sadhana. Sadhana is the best thing that Guru has taught us.
One thing
in that, when we do sadhana, when we just dissolve ourselves, we are out of our body that time. In Sudarshan Kriya, when we go after the meditation, we feel that, So once you continue that, so that will help us to get out of this my body feeling, So that has to be continued, and karma yoga. These two we have to follow. And what sadhana also is a karma. Sadhana also is a karma,
Yeah, in another words, I want to share a little small thing. In one of our Shri Shri Yoga TTCs, Kishanji was Kishan Vermaji was the teacher, and he shared Guruji some clips where Gurudev mentioned that Mala Vikshep Avaran. So all whatever we are doing on this path is to overcome the Mala and Vikshep. And that avarana is completely, it is the blessing, it is the boon. it is, and when that unveiling will happen, that of avarana, is the grace. And our sadhaks, this thing is to get rid of the mala and the vikshepa. And all the sadhana, seva, satsang, and the purification of antankar and whatever we are doing, it is only to overcome the mala and vikshep. And the avarana is the keep on doing everything with shraddha, with the surrender bhav, and what moment or suddenly or over a period of time that veil will disappear. um, we don't have any control over that as sadhaks. Jai Gurudev. Very beautifully, if it's okay on this platform, I will share what Kishanji told us. Like when mother of a small baby, 4 or 5 months old baby, she doesn't miss, even that thought doesn't come in her mind when she changes her dress in front of 4 or 5 months baby. That utni ekrupta hai, it is so much in alignment or totally one with the baby, so she just changes her clothes. Same way, when the prakriti will unfold herself and remove the avarana, we really don't know when that will happen. We need to be just in the shraddha bhav. Jai Gurudev.
Very nice,
Very
Madhuri.
beautiful sharing. Very beautiful.
Very nice.
See, when we're doing, thank you for sharing, Madhuriji. When we're doing karma phalatya, when we're practicing karma phalatyaga, even this moksha ideally is a result, isn't it? It is that tyaga bhavana should be there even there. Otherwise, internally, you're feeling that pressure. Oh, when will I attain? When will I attain? Drop even that. Have the faith that it will happen at some point. When? We don't know. So, but what we need to do is do what we have to do. Continue on this path. Do whatever as an action of, as an expression of joy while pursuing knowledge. That is all we need to. And have infinite patience. No pressure from within. Just be cheerful, happy, irrespective of whether the outcome is according to what you want or not otherwise. Having a say on our raga dveshas. Being aware and alert. That is what we need to. Otherwise, this Maya is so overpowering, it can overpower even the highest learned person. So just being gently aware and praying to Maya, please do not overpower me. I think we all have to pray to Maya. That is why I think all this, you know, the prayers to Devi. Devi is actually Prakriti and is the Swarupa of Maya. So all the prayers that go to the Mother Divine is to let her take care of us on this path and not let us get overpowered by the power of Maya. Not get deluded. Because this path is like Kshurasya Dhara. It is like walking on the razor edge of a knife. It's the middle path, yes, but anything can topple us over. The strength of the vasanas is such that it can, you know, you can slip. So, although it is said, although Krishna says, when on this path you will continue, but we have to be watchful and alert. That seems like a
Hari.
little question there. Yes, go ahead.
Sharanagati is a very beautiful word. Sharanagati is the means go surrender to the Maya also and let her only unveil herself and open up to the ultimate.
Ultimate, that only helps. even in this chapter, 18th chapter, he says, no, just follow me. Sharanagati. You think and all do is you can do all everything, but ultimately that has to happen.
Hari Om. My biggest takeaway today is very beautiful line by Swamiji that in fact whatever he wants does not happen, and whatever he does not want happens, and whatever he wants does not happen. So in our life also, in all situations, whatever we do and with the unconscious expectations also, the things are just happening, and that surrender is the only thing we have to remember. And whatever we get is the prasada. So with prasad buddhi only we have to go. So very, very beautiful takeaway line, this one. So I will remember it for today.
Now it clicked to me that is whatever we want is there. It is not the need. You see, need will be given, not that want. Yeah, good. It clicked me now. In fact, whatever we want may not happen, and whatever we need, we do not want can happen. So that is want. So we should not have that want. Whatever needful, you do it. That's it. That will be provided. Yoga Kshema. So wonderful by surrendering.
The Maya playing, no? What you
Ah,
want, it will not happen. Maya is playing.
so good. This is
Yeah,
want, not the
it
need.
also it also reminds me of that beautiful example. I don't remember who had told, but when the child is sick and if he is asking for chocolates or ice cream, and if it is not given at that time, it is for his benefit, for his welfare. In the same way, if in any given situation, if the things doesn't happen as per our expectation or wish, we have to remember that it is only for our welfare.
We are getting rid of the raga dvesha, like and dislikes. You see, want is always the like and dislike, not the need.
And when we are following our wants, no matter what, you will do everything to get it. So this go-getter attitude, sometime back in one of the chapters, Swamiji was talking about having a go-getter attitude. Go-getter attitude actually is not being a karma yogi. We think being a go-getter is great, but actually speaking, it is in somewhere down the line, down below, you are pursuing your want and you want that to happen. So you do whatever it requires to do it. We think it's great, but it is actually not. You do put in your effort. If it does not happen, drop it. But because go-getter attitude, you're actually clinging to your ego because you want that to happen. You want the situation to happen the way you want it. So you will do whatever it takes. You'll move mountains to get to that result. That is being totally out of being a karma yogi. You're not a karma yogi there. You put in your 100% effort and drop the result. Doesn't matter if you come last in the race, you put in your 100% effort. So that will be an important point here with respect to that want and being a go-getter. For example, when we are talking about the courses to people, we let them know out of that, out of joy, out of what we have experienced, and in order for us to make a difference to them, with an intention to make a difference to them. You tell them and then drop it rather than pestering them, you know, to keep to go after them. No, tell them once, twice, and then let go. The seed is sown. When it will sprout, it depends on when the time is right. But with that non feverish attitude, without that feverishness in the mind, we let people know about it. Even the way we reach out to people will need to change according to Karma Yoga. Yeah. So I will just read this again. So this is what they call samsara chakra, the wheel of samsara. What is said here is that the person who identifies himself or herself as a physical body is not a person with discrimination. That is, he is not a viveki. For that person to give up karma totally is not possible. The viveki, on the other hand, has no problem. He has no erroneous sense of doership, kartritva, and there is no question of any karma being done by him. How does he perform an action or cause anybody to perform any action, even killing? He neither kills nor causes someone else to kill because he has no kartritva whatsoever. Krishna has said earlier, Veda vinashinam nityam ya enamajam avyayam katham sapurusha partha kam ghatayati hantikam. The one who knows this indestructible, time-free, unborn, imperishable self, how or whom does that person destroy or cause to destroy? Whether I do something or I prompt you to do it, it is all the same. I am the agent karta. The one who knows the self, however, neither performs nor asks someone else to perform an action. That knowledge is sarva karma sannyasa. So the viveki that is being talked about here is a jnani, the one who has realized that he is none other than Atma, which is akarta. And that knowledge is sarva karma sannyasa. This sannyasa is not possible as long as you are identified with the body. So this sannyasa is talking about is not the lifestyle he's talking about. Sannyasa is the state of akatritva, abhoktritva. So this sannyasa is not possible as long as you're identified with the body. Karma cannot be completely given up by the one who is identified with the body. Nahi deha bhrita shakyam tyaktum karmanya sheshataha. Since he is ignorant and has the notion that he is a doer, he is enjoined to do karma. That being so, sarva karma sannyasa is not possible. But he can do karma, making sure he is a renunciate of karma phala. He does all the nitya naimitika karmas, giving up the kamya karma, not for any artha or kama, but only for antakarana shuddhi, and through that for moksha. If there is no attachment for security or pleasure, including heaven, in all his actions of prayer, rituals, etc., he has karma phala tyaga. Because he is a tyagi, he will gain an antakarana ready for knowledge. And thereafter, sarva karma sannyasa is possible. This does not mean that he will not get karma phala. That is unavoidable because karma phala is rita, avashyam bhavi, that which will surely happen. It is an unalterable fact that karma necessarily yields a result. Even though he does not want it, it will come to him. But then he has no attachment with reference to it. This is an oft quoted verse in praise of karma yoga. Even though he does karma, still he is a tyagi. Total renunciation of karma is possible only by a person who has the vision of the Atma, which is akarta. Naturally, he has no identification with the body and is therefore not one who sustains the body. Dehabhrita. He is not dead. It is just that he does not have the confusion that I is the body. This is real sannyasa. But as long as there is identification with the body, as long as you are a dehabhrit, what should you do? In this verse, Krishna says, you should be a karma phala tyagi. Now, suppose the person is able to give up the identification with the body and gain sarva karma sannyasa. What would be the result? That is told in the next verse. So, anyone wants to share?
Can someone summarize the previous, means whatever you were reading that? In,
Be a little louder because I can't hear you.
yeah, can you summarize whatever have we have read till now in the last paragraph, whole sloka, for whole sloka?
So, what Krishna is saying here is, I'll just go to the verse again. Nahi deha bhrita shakyam tyaktum karmanyasheshatah yastu karma phala tyagi satyagi tyabhidhiyate. He says, a person, as long as there is identification with the body, actions cannot be completely given up. But the one who renounces the results of action is called a tyagi. So this is actually talking of a karma yogi who still has that identification with the body. See, when I am reading, I have the identification that I am reading. I still do not have that samabhava that, all the dehas are just one, or there is no. So that identification of the body, mind, sense complex is still there. So that as long as that is there, there is that doership. And as long as there is that doership, there is also enjoyership. And every karma has a result, has a karma phala. So the karma phala is what keeps the cycle of samsara going on. How can we get out of this? So therefore, Krishna says, be a karma yogi. How to be a karma yogi is to renounce the results of action or renounce the attachment to the results of action. Karma phala tyaga. So that is the way we get rid of our raga dveshas. So instead of having that internal pressure, oh, this is what I want, or this is what I don't want, I'm averse to that, I don't want that to happen. So you drop that. Every action is an expression of joy. You're cheerful in your mind. So that internal pressure is not there. You continue to do according to your dharma, whatever is required, whatever is needed, whether it is Shastra Vihita karma, the Nitya Naimitika karmas, or your Laukika karma, all your responsibilities as a person in different roles, capacities that you're doing. So do it as an expression of joy, dropping the attachment to the results of action. So whether it is according to what you wanted to happen or what you did not want to happen, you are still cheerful within. When this happens, there is that antakarana shuddhi that is created, and that will set the seed for knowledge to dawn. You pursue knowledge, you pursue jnana as a karma yogi, and then finally that happens. And that is true sarva karma sannyasa, which is not just giving up action, it is that state of akartritva and abhoktritva, the state that there is no difference between you and the Atma, that avidya, the veil of avidya is removed, and then you are in that state of non-doership, total non-doership, not as a concept, but as reality. So whether such a person does any action or prompts anyone to do an action, there is no karma that accrues to them, because there is no kartritva, and therefore there is no coming back to the cycle of samsara. That is moksha. So sarva karma sannyasa is jnana, and to attain this there are two lifestyles, that of a karma yogi and a sannyasi.
Thank you very much, Brahmaraji. Very nice. We can go ahead, no problem.
So now suppose the person is able to give up the identification with the body and gain sarva karma sannyasa. What would be the result? That is told in the next verse. Anishtamishtam mishrancha trividham karmana phalam bhavatyatyaaginam pretya natu sannyasinam kvachit. Atyaginam, for the non-renunciates, pretya, after death, anishtam, undesirable, ishtam, desirable, mishrancha, and a mixture, karmanaha phalam, the result of action, trividham bhavati, exists as threefold, natu kvachit, but never, sannyasinam, for the renunciates. Atyaginam pretya anishtam ishtam mishran karmanah phalam trividam bhavati natu kvachit sannyasinam. Undesirable, desirable, and a mixture, the threefold result of action, exists after death for the non-renunciates, but never for the renunciates. The threefold results of action. The result of karma is threefold: anishta, undesirable; ishta, desirable; mishra, and a mixture of the two. The anishta karma, Shankara says, is characterized by a sojourn in naraka, which is a temporary experience of pain, or by taking a birth in the form of an animal or some other life form lower than that of a human being. I'll repeat this. The anishta karma, Shankara says, is characterized by a sojourn in naraka, which is a temporary experience of pain. So this naraka is not something sitting up there in the sky. It is a temporary experience of pain, or by taking a birth in the form of an animal or some other life form lower than that of a human being. The karma, which is ishta, is characterized by birth in a form higher than a human being, like a god, a main, a gandharva, etc. In Taittiriya Upanishad, we have a list of these forms in ascending order. Each one is better than the other because it enjoys 100 times more happiness. Brahmaji and the denizens of Brahmaloka are the last mentioned. If you have made it there, you have reached the top of samsara, and there is no return from there, and one gains krama mukti there. Then we have mishra, the mixture of desirable and undesirable, as in this human birth. That is why, for the human being, the morning is wonderful, and the evening turns out to be a problem, because he is a mishra. The karma keeps on changing minute to minute. Some things are good, some are bad. Look at the President of the United States. He is the most fortunate person in the sense that he has the biggest job on this planet. But he may not have the leisure to take a serious book in hand and read it. That is not possible while he is in that position. This is what they call mixture of Ishta and Anishta. Every human being is a mixture of these two, a Mishra. Who is the one who gains these results? Thus, karma phala, the result of karma, is threefold, trividham. Even though there are really only two results, punya and papa, from the standpoint of the births one can take, the result is threefold. Any one of these three exists for whom? Only for the atyagis, those who are not renunciates. After dying, to the obtaining body, pretya, that is going away from this obtaining body, they will have to assume other bodies to enjoy one or more of these three types of karma phala. For the renunciates, tyagis, this is not possible. These are the tyagis who have become sarvakarma sannyasis by understanding that Atma is akarta. For them, there is no karma phala at all. Shankara makes a note here about how this karma phala is produced. It comes from action and a number of factors necessary for performing the action. The agent karta, the thing acted upon karma, the instrument used to perform the action karana, and so on. All of them are born of ignorance. You cannot look at yourself as an agent without ignorance, avidya. This is the root of all action. Seeing another thing to be acted upon and a means for doing the action are also avidya. Naturally, the result of action is set up by ignorance. Shankara says it is like magic, in that it is not really there and creates great delusion. It seemingly binds the innermost self, pratyagatma. This result is called phala because it quickly perishes. The word phala refers to a fruit because it is subject to perishing. Like all fruits are labeled perishable, the human body, all results of action, and everything else in this creation should have such a label. Whereas the Paramartha sannyasi does not gain karma phala. All real sannyasis will have no karma phala. A karma phala tyagi, however, will have karma phala because he is still a karta. But because he has started on the journey, he is a kalyana krita. And even if he does not get moksha in this life, he will pick up the thread in the next and continue. Once he is a karma yogi, he is a mumukshu, and there is no going back. He will know later, if not now. Here, the Gita Shastra uses the word sannyasi instead of tyagi to show that the tyagi should become a sarvakarma sannyasi. Shankara makes a distinction here between an aparamartha sannyasi, the one who is not in reality a sannyasi, but is a karma yogi, and a paramartha sannyasi, who is a sannyasi in reality, because he is a sarvakarma sannyasi and does not look upon himself as karta, the doer. His commitment, nishta, is in the knowledge of the Atma, which is non-dual, and for him there is no karma phala. The clear vision of non-dual Atma completely removes the cause of samsara. There is still a lot. I think there are two paragraphs. I will read these two paras. Maybe we'll repeat this shloka tomorrow again. Total renunciation of karma is not possible without clear vision of Atma. From these two verses, we understand that total renunciation of all karma takes place only for those who have the clear vision of Atma. This is because the notion of Atma being a doer, enjoyer, etc., is superimposed on the Atma due to ignorance. If the knowledge that he is not the doer is not there, then no matter what he does, whether he is living the lifestyle of a karma yogi or a sannyasi, he is still subject to karma. If he has not accomplished what is to be accomplished as a karma yogi or a sannyasi in this life, he will pick up the thread in the next. There is no question of a lower birth for him. Even though karma phala is threefold, trividha, and there may be many types of karmas accumulated in the form of sanchita karma for him, which can fulfill themselves only through bodies such as a mouse, rabbit, etc., still those karmas will not have precedence over the karma of a mumukshu. Once he has developed a desire to be free, mumukshutva, which is again because of punya, it is all one way. There is no possibility of his going back to a lower birth. Suppose he dies away while seeking, and then a karma to be a cockroach fructifies. Will he become a cockroach, a silent meditator in somebody's cupboard? It is meaningless to say so. And Lord Krishna says it is not possible. He may spend some time in heaven, but then he will definitely take a birth where he can continue his pursuit. Or he may be born directly in a karma yogi's family. We have an assurance here, there, which is understandable. If there were to be such a thing as karma, etc., then this would be logical within that. Though these people are karma yogis in this life and complete renunciation of karma does not take place, it will take place in a subsequent birth, because once started, there is no going back. Once a person develops this mumukshutva, he cannot push it back any longer. That itself is going against the general flow. And to reach that point, to question the very pursuer is not an ordinary thing. This mumukshutva is reversing the whole process. Once the person's karma has gained such a momentum that it has reversed the process, there is no question of stopping it. The punya is such that the process will get reversed. Generally, the flow is towards samsara, seeking more security and pleasure. Even if one becomes religious, one only wants to go to heaven. But here, all the charitable actions, prayer, etc., have created the momentum to inquire into the truth of oneself. Who am I? Am I seeking correctly? This question is not just $1 million question, it is a million life question. The Gita says, one among thousands makes an effort for gaining oneself. Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschid yatati siddhaye. And at the end of many lives, the one who gains this knowledge gains me. Bahunam janmanam ante jnanavan mam prapadyate. If that question, who am I, has arisen, there is no question of going back. Whether he is living the life of a karma yogi or a sannyasi, one thing is certain. The real sannyasa is the vision of reality, paramartha darshana, and that takes place purely by knowledge, jnana. Both karma yoga and sannyasa are for knowledge, and there is some choice with reference to the lifestyle one is going to adopt. For Arjuna, karma yoga seems to be more appropriate because he is a kshatriya and not a brahmana. The society accepts that a brahmana is only suited for sannyasa or performing rituals like Agnihotra. It is not that a kshatriya cannot take sannyasa, but it is not expected that he will. If a brahmana takes sannyasa, nobody bothers. But if Arjuna takes sannyasa, it is front page news. Then too, if a brahmana takes sannyasa, as a sannyasi, he will still be teaching, praying, etc. There will not be much change in his activities and therefore not much disruption to the society. But The activity of a Kshatriya is entirely different. It is predominantly karma oriented for the benefit of the people. His taking sannyasa, therefore, has a lot of other ramifications. That is why Krishna said in the second chapter, for a Kshatriya, there is nothing better than a battle in keeping with dharma. Dharmyat yuddhat shreyonyat kshatriyasya na vidyate. Here, he is talking about a lifestyle sannyasa. But here in this verse, he is talking not about a lifestyle, but real sannyasa, paramartha sannyasa, which is possible only by the vision of reality, paramartha darshana. That has nothing to do with varna or ashrama. That is, it is immaterial whether you are a sannyasi, a grahastha, or a brahmachari. Nor does it matter whether you are a man or a woman, an Indian or an American. These things do not count at all, since we are talking about jnana. If they count, it is not jnana. The qualifications for jnana are viveka, vairagya, shama, dama, uparati, titiksha, shraddha, samadhana, and mumukshutva. Any human being or an equivalent being can develop all these. In the Ramayana, Hanuman is presented as a great inquirer, Jignasu, to show that it does not make any difference whether you are a man or a Vanara. Knowledge is dependent on nothing but the object of knowledge. To know, you require only a certain type of mind. If you have the qualification, you can have the knowledge. Nothing else matters, and nobody can deny it to you. For the ignorant person who looks upon the agent, etc., as Atma, Sarva Karma Sannyasa does not take place, whether he is a Karma Yogi or a Sannyasi who has no knowledge. There is only one way one can have total renunciation of all action, that is, knowing Atma to be Akarta, the non-doer. The verses that follow show this. That is the beautiful 12th verse. I think we will do this verse once again tomorrow. I went through the flow because I just wanted to go through the flow. We just have 1 minute. So basically the summing up of this is that total renunciation of karma is only possible through knowledge. The knowledge that Atma is Akarta and Abhokta. Till then, it is not total renunciation. Till then, you'll have to continue the cycle of samsara. But then there is a reassurance that he's a Kalyanakrit. He will never devolve. He will only keep pursuing. He'll pick up the thread from wherever he left and continue to pursue. Right? So, we don't have any time for Manana now, but we'll take the shloka up tomorrow again and we'll do Manana on this. Om Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Tat Sat Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. Jai Gurudev. I will just play Maya Panchakam.
निरुपमनित्यनिरंशकेऽप्यखण्डे मयि चिति सर्वविकल्पनादिशून्ये घटयति जगदीश जीवभेदम् त्वघटितघटना पटीयसी माया त्वघटितघटना पटीयसी माया श्रुतिशतनिगमान्तशोधकानपि अहह धनादिनिदर्शनेन सद्यः कलुषयति चतुष्पदाद्यभिन्ना न घटितघटना पडीयसी माया सुखचिदखण्डविबोधमद्वितीयम् वियदनलादिविनिर्मित्ते नियोज्य भ्रमयति भवसागरे नितान्तम् त्वघटितघटना पटीयसी माया अपगतगुणवर्णजातिभेदे सुखचितिविप्रविडाद्यहङ्कृतिं च स्फुटयति सुतदारकेहमोहम् त्वघटितघटना पटीयसी माया विधिहरिहरविभेदमप्यखण्डे बत विरचय्य बुधानपि प्रकामम् भ्रमयति हरिहरविभेदभावान् घटितघटना पडीयसी माया त्वघटितघटना पडीयसी माया